Proper crane setup is required for safe operations. Before moving the crane to the worksite, operators must do the necessary operator daily checks. Operators must also check the remainder of the pre-use items at the worksite. The supervisor should plan the route to and from the worksite to ensure that load-restricted areas are not used for crane travel. Ideally, the crane worksite should provide adequate room for crane setup and maneuvering. The work area should be free from obstacles, including vehicle or pedestrian traffic. Mobile cranes should be set up so that no part of the crane or load can come within the prescribed clearance distance of overhead electric power lines. When necessary to work around obstacles or hazards, be sure the entire crane team is aware of them. The crane rigger should assist in positioning the crane by watching clearances and giving the operator directions as needed. When maneuvering truck cranes, make sure the rotate lock is engaged. The rotate brake alone is not enough to prevent crane rotation while traveling. The result of unexpected rotation can be an overturned crane. The worksite must provide adequate ground support for the outrigger pads, which create extreme ground pressures during heavy lifts. Ground conditions may require the use of cribbing or pads to spread out the ground loading. Saturated soil or ground that is either freezing or thawing may require additional supporting materials. Operators must read and follow all posted cautions and any operational restrictions. Follow the manufacturer's setup requirements for each lifting configuration. Extend outriggers as required. When using variable position outriggers, extend as necessary and use the correct load chart for determining crane capacity. When extending multi-position outriggers, ensure that the beams are deployed only in accordance with the manufacturer's instructions. Outrigger beams typically have extra support in the load-bearing areas to prevent collapse under load. Level the crane within 1 degree, or as required by the crane manufacturer, and ensure all tires are kept close to, yet clear of, the ground. Ensure outrigger pads are attached or pinned to the jacks as required by the manufacturer. This will prevent detachment of the outrigger jack should the jack rise up when the load is over the opposite corner. Make sure outrigger pads are not placed over underground utility tunnels or drainage pipes. Areas over tunnels or pipes often will not provide adequate ground support. Optional counterweights may be required to achieve higher capacities on cranes having this option. Front bumper counterweights are designed to help increase capacity only when lifting over the rear. Position counterweights as required by the manufacturer for lifting. Caution should be used when doing operational checks in freezing weather. Operators should always hoist up first before lowering. Operating the hoist down with frozen sheaves may unspool wire rope at the drum. Operators should not use high-speed lowering with empty hooks. This can result in fouled wire rope at the hoist drum. Before lifting a load in wet weather, brakes and clutches on friction cranes should be operated until dry to prevent slippage. No-load operational checks include testing limit switch operation. Extreme caution must be used to prevent two-blocking when checking the bypass function during operator checks. In the past, two-block accidents have resulted in fatalities at Navy activities. Everyone must remain alert to the possibility of two-blocking. When installed, load moment indicators, or LMIs, must be checked to ensure they are operational. Accuracy can be checked by putting the boom at a known angle, measuring the radius, and lifting a known weight. These known values are then compared to those shown on the display. In the period from 1998 to 2003, 25 accidents occurred while erecting or stowing ancillary equipment. When erecting or stowing ancillary equipment, such as swing-away extensions, follow the Navy Crane Center approved procedures developed by your activity. Follow the manufacturer's guidelines for travel with jibs or extensions erected if allowed. Rope off or barricade crane work areas to keep unauthorized personnel or vehicles out. Observe local operating restrictions such as pier loading.